Hello everyone, welcome back again. This is Devabrata, and today I'm planning to take a session on trigger. So it is going to be a long session, so I'm planning to segregate it into different parts. But today we will definitely start to know what is trigger, and obviously initial few properties of trigger today we will learn. So let's jump into the topic first. So trigger means something if you want to execute on happening of some event. Like if someone is inserting some data into table and you want to take some action. The action might be very simple, like just printing hi, or you want to capture the the incident, like who is inserting the data, when, what is the purpose. So everything if you want to monitor or anything means whenever some event happened, if you want to take some action, that is called trigger. So you can put anything, any scripts, any logic you can build, but it will only run when some event will be happening. So one insert or delete, it might be some update, anything. So it is called trigger. So obviously we will check what is trigger, but as a definition, we can say a trigger is a special type of stored procedure that automatically runs when an event occurs in the database server. So let's explore what is trigger. So, but before going into that, I want to mention like we have three types of trigger, like DML trigger, as I was explaining, the first one, like it happens when some insert, update, or delete, like the events like insert, update, and delete happens in the database, then this type of trigger is activated. We have DDL trigger. You know what is the meaning of DDL? DDL means like if you create some table, if you alter something, if you drop something, so in those cases, or if you truncate, even truncate comes under the DDL. So if you are doing those DDL activities, then this type of trigger is getting activated. The last one is the logon trigger. It is not that much used, but yeah, in some projects it will be majorly used, it might be. So logon trigger is something whenever someone log into the server, you want to do some task at that particular moment, like you want to track who is that person when he logged in. So for each login you want to perform some task, then this type of trigger is good for use. But today we will focus on the DML trigger. We have different type of DML triggers as well. So as we know, the main types of the trigger are DML, DDL, logon. But if we go further, DML trigger is also having two types, like before and after. So after triggers are called as for trigger, before triggers are called as instead of trigger. So that is the further types of DML trigger. So today our focus will be only on the after trigger. We will not learn a quite lot of thing today. We will just initialize our journey of the trigger with the after trigger, which is basically a DML trigger. So after trigger, as the name suggests, it happens after some event is completed. Means it happens after the event. Suppose the events might be DML events, like might be like insert, update, and delete. So whenever some insert happened already, then if you mention some task, it will be executed after each insert. So let's explore without just without checking the theory. Let's explore what I'm trying to mean. Let's create some trigger as well. So let me select any table from the database. So what I can remember, I have a nice table called movie customers, I guess. So where I have entered few data with the movies, like Divya is going for Avatar 2 movie on 21st of December 2022. Ticket price is quite high, 900. Cinepolis, probably it was the weekend. Varun also went for the Avatar 2. It is 600 price on same Cinepolis, one tickets only. So something like that. So I can see Ishan is going for multiple movies. So some good example of the table itself, with some good example of data. So now if I want to put some trigger on this table, like I want to have some trigger like create trigger tr1, you can put any name. Again, it is nothing about the syntax. If you forget the syntax, you can check in Google what are the syntax of trigger, but you have to understand the meaning of each line. That is important. Like here, create trigger, then you have to place your name. For the timing, I'm just placing tr1. I'm placing it on the table called movie customers. So whenever something will be happening in movie customers, this trigger will be activated. And I'm writing it for after insert. After insert, it will be activated. So as begin and end. And here I'm not going to do a lot of things. I'm just going to just print something called high, or print tier 1, high tier 1, something I can write. Just a normal message, just to prove like after each insert, something like this is happening. So if I execute, yeah, you can see. So now if I try to insert something into this table, like insert into movie customers, and I am not going to insert a lot of things. I'm just going to insert the customer ID, customer name, and gender only, not too much of values. So here I just want to insert 101, someone say Prakhar, and not 101. Let me insert something like 109 Prakhar, and null. Gender, let me insert male. So if I insert that, simultaneously this line, obviously this data will be inserted, but you can see a message like high tier 1. From where it is coming? It is coming there from this trigger. So it means whenever I insert something, this trigger will also work at the same time. Not at the same time, after the insert it will, means after the insert will be done, this printing line will be executed. You can mention, obviously, it is a stupid example, a very simple example of trigger, but if you want, you can add as many line as you want. You can put a lot of line here. Okay. So like the store procedures, and that's why in the store definition of the trigger, you saw one line like it is kind of store procedure, but it happens after any event is occurred or any event is triggered. So here the event is insert. So whenever I'm inserting something in the movie customer table, these lines will be executed. For the timing, we have just one line because we have just started with the example of trigger. It is our first trigger we have created. So it is simple. But yeah, later we will try to create more complicated triggers. But for the timing, it is fine to print something. Our agenda was to prove whenever some insert is happening, that line is being executed automatically. And yes, that is happening. We can see. So now I can create trigger for other operations as well, other events as well, because in the slide you can see it happens for insert, it can happen for update, it can happen for delete. So let me create something for update as well, and let me give the name as tier 2. On the same table here, you have to mention the table name. So again, if I revise the syntax, create trigger any name on which table you want to do the operation. After, you have to mention the operation name or event name. Here it is update. Whenever some update will be happening in the table, it will start to work. So here I'm just printing high tier 2. That's all. And similarly, let me create something called for sorry, my bad. Something for delete. and I will create it for tier 3, and I will just print tier 3. So it will happen whenever some delete happens in the main table. So let me check really Prakhar's data has been entered or not. I can see, yeah, Prakhar's data I can see here. So I will just update, suppose the movie name in case of Prakhar. So I can write update movie customer table, set movie name. Say Prakhar went for the movie called After 2. You say where customer ID equals to 109. So if I update, you will be able to see something like high tier 2 and 2 rows affected. Probably Prakhar was there for some other movies as well, but no issue. You can see high tier 2 is being executed. So whenever it's update in the table movie customer, this piece of code will work. So for the timing, it is just printing for the simplicity because we are very new to this topic called trigger. So obviously after that, after creating some more triggers, we will try to build something complicated. But for the time being, that simplicity is okay. So let me take a look into the table if really Prakhar's data has been updated or not. You can see Prakhar, where is Prakhar? Yeah, after 2 has been updated. So my bad. There was another one with 109 Anand. So it was also updated. I don't know what was the previous record, but yeah. So let me do one thing. Let me delete this record now where customer name is Prakhar. And obviously, as expected, uh, another trigger should work on delete. And that is tier 3. You can see high tier 3 because we have created something like this. Whenever some delete happens on the movie customer, this TR3 will be activated. All the lines written here will be executed. So for the timing, it is just a print statement, but you can see it worked. High TR3 is working. So this is some simple examples of DML triggers which happens after insert, update, and delete. So I can give you another example, another properties. It will be good to just try all these properties by yourself, because most of the people, what they do, they just revise everything, they just memorize everything whatever is available in the internet and go to the interview, and in front of the interviewer, when interviewer asks something like some critical questions or some concept oriented question, they try to remember because they are not feeling confident because they have not done it by themselves. So it is good obviously to read all the things, all the properties of trigger from internet, but simultaneously it will be very good if you just practice it once. Obviously it is good if you refer to the exercise and solve some exercises on over that, over this topic. But still, if you do not have time, it is suggested just to practice all the codes I am showing you right now, just to practice once. Then you will feel confident in the interview round. That's my point. So now I want to show you the differences or the similarities of after and for triggers. In the internet, in few of the websites, you can see some differences between after and for trigger. But trust me, there is no difference between after and for trigger. So just what I'm trying to mean by after and for trigger, let me show you by a practical example. So I can create a trigger TR4 on movie customer table. Once again, here I can use some keyword like for. So for delete. So for and after are the same thing. Either you can use for, either you can use after. So your choice, but both are same. So here I'm just writing high tier 4. So I'm just creating this trigger for delete. So either you can use for or after, both are same. I will prove that thing as well. But for the time being, just let's take a look here. I have created both the triggers tier 3 and tier 4 on movie customer table on the event of delete. But the difference is here I have written after, here I have written for. But both of them are same. Let me insert Prakhar's record once again. Okay, this time with 110 because I saw someone was there with 109. So anyway, that doesn't matter. So now obviously you can see high tier 1 is working because it was mentioned like tier 1 will work for insert into the movie customer table. But if I delete Prakhar's record right now, you can see both of them are working, tier 3 and tier 4. So it doesn't matter if you are using the keyword after or if you are using the keyword for. So both are same. Both are called after triggers. Okay. So you can see both of them are working, tier 3 and tier 4. So that proves this line. If interviewer tries to confuse you, like what is the difference between after and for triggers, you can be sure like after and for triggers are same. So now the third point, you can define multiple after triggers in a table. You can see we have already defined 4 triggers already in the table movie customer. I can show you even if I go to the database, it will take some time. In the movie customer table, we have already defined 4 triggers. So it is the point, it is already proved like we can define multiple after triggers in a table. Even we did another thing. Where is our database? Yeah. We did another thing for a single event. For a single event like delete, I have defined 2 different triggers for delete. So for same table, for same event, you can define multiple triggers as well. So it is proved. If I go to our table, movie customers, here it is. If I show you, if I go to the triggers, you can find the 4 triggers are defined here. Got it. So it is proved like you can define multiple after triggers in a table, even for an event in a table. Okay, event like delete event. I have already created 2 triggers for the delete event in a single table. So point number 4, you can use all the DML events together or any 2 or any 1. What does that mean? It means if needed, you can combine all the events as well. I mean, like I currently I'm creating another trigger called tier 5 on the movie customer table, but I am putting all the events together. That also is option. You can create something like this, delete and insert. Let me try to run it. Okay, let me change the body. Let me create it high tier 5. So that is one option. If needed, you can add all the events as well. So you can put any single one, you can put multiple, you can put all, you can put 2, you can put any type of event. So here I'm putting 3 events and here I'm writing high tier 6. So whatever you want, you can do. And it will be as per the need. I will show you later how when to use the combine events, when to use the single events. I'll be showing you some real-time example. But for the time being, I'm just playing with the data with some simple triggers. So it is important to know how trigger works. Then obviously we will check some complex examples. And so if I insert Prakhar's record once again, so you can see tier 1 is working because it is created on insert. Tier 5 and tier 6 is also working. Why? Because tier 5 is created on delete and insert, so it should also work. And tier 6 is also working because you can see insert here. So that's the thing. And tier 6 will also work and tier 5 will also work if I delete something as well. So if I delete Prakhar's record once again, you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, everything is working. So if you can remember, we have created the tier 3 here on delete, tier 4 again for delete, tier 5 for delete and insert. Delete is a part of the event, and tier 6 is delete, insert, and update. So on deletion, tier 6 would also work. So here you can see tier 3, 4, 5, 6, everything is working. So if you have any doubts, anything in your mind, just let me know in the comment section. I will try to answer each and every questions. So it is something like where you means it is saying you can use all the DML events together or any two or any one in the trigger. So now if I proceed, even you can set the order as well, like which one will be happening first. So here, as per the creation, TR3 created first, so it is working first. Then we created TR4, then that's why TR4 is working after that. TR5 is working after that, and at last TR6, because as per the creation time. So we created TR3 first, then TR4, then TR5, then TR6. But if needed, you can change the order as well. You just need to write something, SP state trigger order. So this is one of the store procedures. You do not need to know what is written inside because it is created by Microsoft people. So you just need to use that. So you can mention like if you want to put trigger 6 at the starting. Suppose you want to put or TR5 at the starting. So you can write trigger name equals to TR5, comma, order equals to, you can mention three type of orders. Either you can mention first. Let me put first for the time being. And here I can write statement type. So I want to make this order for delete. So for delete operation, I want to create some order. So for delete, I have 4 triggers already working. You can see. And out of them, I want to make TR5 to work first. Also, okay, let me run this first. TR5, I want to make it first. Then means first TR5 will execute. TR suppose 4 will execute last. Suppose on delete operation. Okay. Whenever some delete happen, TR5 will be first happening. After at last it will be TR4, and in the middle I will put others. So like if I put TR6 in the, okay, let me try to put it first again, TR6, just to show you it will not execute because you cannot put 2 triggers at the first position. So it has to be none. So we have 3 options like first, last, and none. So TR6 as none. And what is left? I forgot, it is TR3, I guess. For delete, it was TR3. TR3 is also none. Yeah, so it is none. So what will be the order? If I put in order, so yeah, the order is something like this. So first TR5 will be executing, at last TR4, but in the middle TR3 and TR6 will be working. So as per the creation time, probably TR3 will work first or TR6. So it might be random as well, but definitely TR5 will work first and TR4 will work last. So you cannot define something called second. You cannot define something like this. So we have only 3 options: first, last, and none. So let me insert a record once again and let me delete because I want to see how it is happening for delete. You can see definitely TR5 is working first as it is mentioned at first. TR4 is working at last. We have mentioned it at last. And TR3 and TR6 is working in the middle. So as per the creation time, TR3 is working first, then TR6. So you can order them as well. So that is also important. So I have done it for delete. You can try to do the same for insert and update as well. So topic 2, the magic table. So we have some magic tables in database. So what are the names? The names are inserted and deleted. So if why it is called magic tables? It is sometimes called as virtual table as well, because in the normal time, if you try to check these tables, like select star from inserted and select star from deleted, it doesn't exist in normal time. So if I run, it will say invalid object name inserted. If I try to run the deleted, it will say invalid object name deleted. So it is called magic table or virtual table for two reasons. First reason is at normal time, it doesn't exist. And it has no structure. Take the structure of the main table. So when it comes, normal time, I cannot see them in the database, but it comes into picture when some events happen. It exists there only for a few milliseconds. So whenever someone is inserting something, whenever is someone deleting something or updating something, this table is created and take the structure of the impacted table. What I'm trying to mean, let me show you. Let me try to create another trigger. Tier 7. And this time I'm not going to print only. I'm just going to select those two tables. Same thing. Just let me copy and paste. Just to prove normal time they do not exist, but in between trigger, it will be live. So whenever something happens, this inserted and deleted tables comes into the picture. If I execute, and now let me try to insert something again. So here you can see that one record that I am trying to insert, 110 Prakhar mail, that line is there and it is coming from the inserted table. Obviously, other triggers are working. They are printing tier 1, tier 5, tier 6. That doesn't matter. I am trying to check. I'm trying to check what is there in the inserted table. So in the inserted table, you can see whatever has been inserted into the table movie customer. So the inserted table in normal time, it doesn't exist. But whenever I'm inserting something into movie customer, this trigger is working. And this trigger is basically saying print inserted table and print deleted table. So at that time, for a few milliseconds, inserted table look like this. Now, if I check what is there in inserted and deleted, it will say invalid object name. So inserted and deleted created only for a few milliseconds time. At normal time, it doesn't exist. And second point is it has no specific structure. It takes the structure of the main table. So now how inserted and deleted table looks like? It looks like the movie customer table. It is not the movie customer table because in movie customer table, we have quite a lot of data. It is the current state of inserted table, not current state. It was the state at the time of insertion. And delete table, obviously, we have not deleted anything. So delete table is empty. So now if I update the movie name, so currently movie name is null. So for Prakhar, so if I update the movie name from Prakhar to Avatar 2, you can see the inserted table will hold the current record, deleted table will hold the old record. So it means it is deleting this record and inserting this one. So whenever in some update happens, the old record goes into the deleted table where you can see movie name is null. Previously it was null. And the new record will be there. Everything else is same. So SQL is observing this update as something, deleting these values and inserting this one. So at the end, obviously, this null movie name will be changed into Avatar 2. So that is something update works. Update, define. So if I delete now something from the movie customer table, you can see inserted table is blank and delete table is, we can have the record which is deleted is in deleted table. Got it? So it takes the structure of the movie customer table. If you perform something similar to any other table like student table or employee table, you can see the structure of student table, you can see the structure of employee table there. Okay. So as a summary, like inserted inserted table will hold the rows to be inserted. deleted table will be empty. For update, it will hold the new rows, and deleted table will hold the old rows or existing rows that is modified. In case of delete, inserted table will be empty and deleted table will be holding the records or rows to be deleted. So that is something magic table is, or it can be called as a virtual table as well. So if it is not clear, let me know. But before going into the topic 3, I will suggest you to revise all the things, to write all the codes, to create all the triggers by yourself in your SQL server. Then it will be clear for you. Otherwise, it is just me doing all the things. So face some error. If you are facing error, paste the error messages in the comment section. I will have a look, and I can comment further, like what mistakes you are doing. So now real scenarios of after trigger. Obviously, we did a lot of things with some stupid triggers like hi, hello, those printing magic tables. But now something we will do, something serious, something complicated. Not that much, but still something, some real examples where we use after trigger. So it is mainly used for keeping the log. Suppose today someone wants to take some revenge. Obviously, no one is happy with their managers, with their boss. So someone thinks like, okay, enough is enough. Today is my last day in my office, and I'm going to delete couple of tables. I'm going to delete couple of records so that my manager suffers after I leave. So obviously, someone might do something like that. So if you think to keep a log, like obviously it is not possible for you to monitor everything, who is doing what. But what if I maintain some log table so that I can have a look who is doing what? If needed, I can ask them like, why have you deleted those records? Why you have updated? Means if everything, if in database, like if I change something, it cannot be retrieved once again. Today morning even in this class specifically, I updated one record, probably Anand's record at the starting, 109 ID. So I cannot get that data back. Even I do not know what was there. Trust me, there is no mechanism to get back your data unless you are having some backup server or something like that. You are taking the backup. But normally, in normal scenario, you cannot get the data ever. So that's the point. If someone updates something by mistakenly or by just by an error, so or intentionally even, so you can track who is doing what, and if needed, you can keep the old value as well if needed. So I will be trying to show you what I'm. So I want to keep a track. So for doing that, I have to create an audit table. So I can start create an audit table. So I have created the table called movie customer audit where I keep the audit ID, events, which events is happening in the table, who is doing that, when it has been done, what is the old customer ID. I am not keeping the details of everything. I'm just keeping a track of old customer ID, old customer name, and new customer ID and new customer name, something like that. If I execute that, and let me create a trigger now. Let me close this one. So let me create a trigger now. So create trigger. So what is the number? It will be TR8. So create trigger TR8 on movie customers after insert as begin and end. So I'm trying to do. Obviously, I'll be doing something like okay. Let me insert something into the movie customer audit table. Let me insert something into movie customer audit, and I'm going to insert these details: audit ID, audit ID. Audit ID is identity, so do not need to give audit ID. You can see it is identity. Identity means automatically it will be increased. So I'm trying to insert the events. I'm trying to insert the user. I'm trying to insert the event name, event times. I'm trying to insert the old customer ID, or I'm going to insert new thing. So new customer ID and new customer name. At the end, they will be understanding why I'm doing this. But for the time being, just check what I'm doing. So I'm just selecting events like insert. Whenever some insert happen, this trigger will be activated. I'm just putting insert here. Okay. So just a fixed sentence, fixed word like insert. In case of users, I'm putting one function. That function probably you do not know. It is something new, but it will just return the login ID. So here in case of me, if you see my cursor, it will return that name, desktop ppn 2T0T Devabrata. So something. So who is doing that? It will capture that detail. But again, it is not important to remember because no one is going to ask you during interview. Just I'm trying to create something real time. What happens in the real projects, I'm trying to show you that. So it will capture the login name. So who is currently inserting something into movie customer. So this is the function to track that. Get date is something like to track the date when it is happening at that particular moment, and new customer ID and CNAME. So it takes the structure of the movie customer table. So let me take how it looks. So I will pick up customer ID and customer name from inserted table, because inserted table will take the structure of movie customer table itself. So I am putting like inserted. So let me create this TR8 on insert. Yeah. Let me create something for delete. Suppose it is TR9. And here I will do some nominal changes. Here it will only mention delete. And here it will populate the old customer ID and old customer name, because I'm deleting that. And I will take the data from deleted. And that's all. So if I create this TR9, yeah. So I have created two triggers. I'm explaining that what is happening. But for the time being, this movie customer audit table should be blank. Let me check. Okay, let's start from movie customer. For the time being, it should be blank because it is just newly created. You can see it is blank. So now, if I insert some data into movie customer table. So, okay, I have inserted something probably. Let me check in the movie customer table. Yeah, we have a new record for Prakhar. In movie customer audit, if I check, it will give an entry. Like the first entry is insert. It is a word I have used here. You can see. So it keeps a impression on this audit table like, okay, someone Debabrata, someone with this login ID insert at 27th of July 2023, 12:42 p.m. and he has inserted some new value like 110 and Prakhar, something like that. So if you want to play with that, so suppose if I write 111, suppose Smriti or someone like that, female, someone, if I try to enter into the movie customer table, so every time it will keep a track. So now this time let me delete Prakhar's record. And if I check the movie customer audit, I will get three things. So someone insert these details, someone insert these details, and someone delete this detail, and it will specify the time as well. I am the only user. I can work in this computer right now, so you can always see my name. But if it is a multi-user system, it will track the user ID who is doing these things. So suppose if it is Monday morning and if you come to the office and you want to see what happened during the weekend, if anyone did anything or not, so you can have a look into this table. Okay, and you can hide this table as well, so no one else will know that this type of table exists. So how to hide a table, that we will discuss later. It is not an important topic, but it is important to know what is the real-time use of these triggers. So this is something real-time use. Okay, so this is one of the examples where we are using single DML operations. Means single DML operation means I am creating a trigger for delete only. I am creating a trigger for insert only. And you can see the bodies, the definitions are quite different. But what happens if I create something for all the operations? If I wanted to show you some real-time examples for that. Suppose you have one calculation table where you want to keep all the profits made by all the cinema halls. So let me create another table very quickly. So let me create this one very quickly, movie collections, and let me insert the data here into movie collections. As so I want to keep all the collections by different cinema halls. So I have a nice table called movie customers there. If I want to bring it here and I want to see something like group by movie hall, and I want to see the collection or the profits or the price, some of the ticket price. I'm not going into typical mathematics like ticket price into ticket count or something. I'm just simply, I want to see the sum of ticket price. Our purpose is not to do this mathematics, but something I want to see like this. Okay, so Acropolis has some business like null. Bioscope has some total like 200, something like that. Cinepolis 1700, Inox 470, something like that. I want to keep it inside the table movie collection. Okay, so movie collection is holding that nice data. So if I show you the table called movie collection, or let me bring it here. Movie collection. So if I check it here, so we have a data like this. So Cinepolis is doing some business like 1700 or something like that. So now if I update some records, suppose Cinepolis, let me check, Cinepolis is here. So Cinepolis is having a ticket like 900. If I want to update that, suppose. So let me update that thing. So ticket price. I want to update ticket price. Ticket price to suppose not 900. I want to make it like 800 only, where customer ID is 101. So if I update that, it is already updated. If I show you, you can see this type of records because one trigger is working at the back. So you can see it is updated to 800. But in the movie collection, it is still Cinepolis is holding the older value 1700. So if you need like the value for Cinepolis is updating here, simultaneously another table would be affected. If it is the scenario, it might happen in the real time as well. If you are updating something and it is affecting some other table, then obviously you need to simultaneously change the second table as well. If something is happening on the first table, simultaneously, immediately after that, the second table should also be corrected. So in those scenarios, you have to introduce a trigger. This is again something real time. So let me create another trigger. Create trigger TR10. And this time I'm doing like on movie customer. After delete, update, and insert, after everything, whenever something has been inserted or something has been updated or deleted, I'm going to run this query every time. If I go here, yeah, so I'm just going to update it at that moment, whenever some delete, update, and insert happening. So this is another example where we are using, it is another real-time example where we are using three type of event together. So this is one example where we are example of combined DML operations, means we are using all the operations. So now if I show you, if I update something to suppose 600, customer ID 101, I'm just decreasing that to 600. And if I check the movie collection table, so Cinepolis price should be, okay, it is, why it is not decreasing? Am I doing anything wrong? Let me do it 300. If it is really updating, yeah, let me check movie collection table. Still Cinepolis, why it is not changing? What I did wrong, let me take a look. Movie collection, movie customers, group by movie hall. Am I doing anything wrong? I did a wrong thing. You can see the it keeps inserting the data. So what it should do, it keeps inserting. So we have currently 24 records, and you can see Cinepolis is 1100. It is nice example of another thing. My next topic. If you did some mistake, if you did some mistake, if you want to change the, if you want to change something, some definition of the trigger, you can use alter statement. It is a nice example as well. So if you want to change something, you have to write alter trigger. It was just my next topic and it is good. So people might ask why you need to change something, obviously to make some mistake. So it will be a nice thing. So here, every time I have to truncate the table movie collection, I have to clear the table and then need to insert the correct calculation. Otherwise, it will keep adding. So this is one nice example to show the alter trigger examples. It is a real time as well, real mistake I have made. So now, if I change the value, suppose if I change the value to 400, I think 400 is a very cheap price. Currently, movie tickets are becoming very costly. But if I execute, suppose, and now if I check the movie collection, you can see Cinepolis become 1200. If I make it 600, let me update. So Cinepolis might go to 1400. I'm not that good in mathematics, but still it should be 1400. Yeah, it is correctly updating now. So if any changes are needed, you can just make alter trigger like always. Always we use alter to make changes in the definitions. Okay, we have done it for view, we have done it for function, we have done it for stored procedures. So every time, if you need to change the definition, it is always alter. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just clearing the old values and inserting the new calculation. So it is one of the examples of the combined events, a real-time example. So if you want, you can drop some trigger as well. So suppose I do not like every time I'm updating something, you can see I'm getting this inserted and deleted tables. So I do not like that. So if you want to change that, where is updated, deleted? Yeah. So I want to delete this trigger, TR7. It is very simple. Just write drop trigger TR7. Okay. So I can just drop. So now if I show you, if I update something here, it will not show that information. Okay. So it will show other printing statements, but it will not show that statement. So you can drop if needed. The last topic for the day, it is very simple. If you do not want to drop something, but you want to disable something, that is also okay. Because probably after a few months, you might require that once again. And there is no meaning to spend again some time to creating on that. So it is better to disable some trigger as well. So how to disable a trigger? So just simply write disable, suppose trigger TR01, which is happening on case of some insert, or TR3, suppose that is happening for delete, I guess, I can remember, on the table movie customer. So you can disable this trigger TR3. So now if you delete something, from here, you cannot see TR3 anymore. You can see TR5, 6, TR4, but you cannot see TR3. If you can remember, TR3 was created for delete, I guess. Yes. Look, we have at the starting of the class, we created TR3 for the delete purpose. But now if you are deleting something, you cannot see TR3 because it is disabled. But yeah, obviously, if you want someday again, you can enable it. So let me enable once again. So if I run, and now if I delete something, it will again start working. Let me check what I can delete. Okay, let me delete Smriti's record. Okay, 111 probably. Delete where customer name is Smriti. Okay, I did a wrong thing. I have written Smrit, but it's still okay. Let me delete. So TR3 should appear here. Here you can see TR3 again there. So you can enable and disable whenever it is needed. If you do not want to delete, or if you do not want to drop something permanently. So temporarily, if you want to stop that trigger from working, then you can use disable and enable keywords. So that is something I wanted to show you practically. So I hope you will feel confident now. If any questions being asked during the interview, you can answer it confidently. Just for minimum, I would expect just practice all the things I have already shown. Just practice all of them one by one. It might take 2 hours, 3 hours, or one evening. But in return, you will get the confidence in the interview round. If they ask something, you can confidently answer them. And obviously, if you have some time, if you are doing it very passionately, you can refer to the exercise as well. So you will get some nice questions there. So just scratch your head and try to think. And if you are not able to understand something from these examples, then or it is not working in your SQL server, obviously it is not a live class. So I would suggest you to put that error messages into the comment section. If either me or someone else can have a look, and we can discuss over that. And also you can take benefit of these study materials and the Facebook group even. Our intention is to discuss more about the topic, discuss more about some techniques of SQL Server in that group. If you feel something to share, you can share that as well in that Facebook group or in the comment section. But revise all of those because those are very important and those are very fundamental details in the trigger. So in next few classes, I will also try to show you some more examples of different type of triggers. So it is important to practice all those examples I have shown today. So that's all for the day. Bye. See you again. Bye.